Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, yesterday playing in another pre-season friendly, this time against Borussia Dortmund, and another defeat. 2 defeats in a row. Although, I have to say, at the end of that game, that offside given by the referee or the assistant referee was shocking. So it should really have been 3-3. But another defeat. Should we be getting worried? Last season, we had 2 defeats in pre-season. I remember we lost to Tottenham. It's a meltdown on that. We got absolutely taken apart by Villarreal as well. We didn't get taken apart yesterday. But listen, we went on to win the league with those 2 defeats. So it's not the end of the world. But one thing that was worrying, actually, before I touch on the worrying things, I'll give you the positives. Solis, I thought, looked really, really good. So he's bedding in really nicely. And also Martin Odegaard coming back. Played about half an hour of the first half, looked really sharp. That's the type of Odegaard we want to see next season. So that was the positives. Negatives, again, the defending. 6 goals conceded in 2 games. That is getting worrying. The bedrock on what Arsenal won the league, you know, brilliant defending. The defending has not been good enough in these games. Poor defending, as a matter of fact. And after the game, Mikel Arteta was being asked about, 2 players that are missing, 2 players that were absolutely brilliant for us last season. Julián Timber, who he said is weeks away from being fit for the team. So it looks like he might not start very unlikely that he makes the cut at the start of the season, which is only in a couple of weeks' time against Coventry. And also William Saliba, he described as could be out for a while. He's in rehabilitation. He could be out for several months. Now, as I said, defending looked worrying. I know it's still early in the season, but 6 goals in the last 2 games, really basic errors. And does this signal the fact that Arsenal got to get that centre-back or right-back in as soon as possible to give them some pre-season with a team? Are they going to accelerate their move for Ezri Konsa of Aston Villa? We know Villa are looking for £60 million. They know that Arsenal need this, and I think Arsenal do need this. Time is starting to run out, as I said, only a couple of weeks ago until the first game of the season, and you want to get off to a good start. Somebody like Ezri Konsa, viewed by Arsenal as a very good ball-playing centre-back, can also play right-back, so that's also important, and he's Premier League ready, plug and play. He's played in the Premier League, knows the Premier League inside out, England international, has been at the World Cup. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Ezri Konsa. Along with all the other English players, this is their week of return. What is going to happen with players like Konsa? It's going to be really, really interesting to see. But will Arsenal accelerate their move for him? Spoke yesterday a lot about Christian Romero. Got to say, went through the comments. Not many of you enthused about him. We asked fans at the stadium yesterday about Christian Romero. And I have to say, it was more a thumbs down than a thumbs up to take a centre-back from Tottenham. But again, a player like that would be Premier League ready, although it is looking increasingly likely that he ends up at Atletico Madrid. That's the more likely destination for him because Tottenham do not want to sell him to Arsenal. Arsenal interested in a player today, goes by the name of Joachim Se. Left-back, plays for Club Bruges over there in Belgium. Looks like Arsenal looking to make a couple of raids on Bruges. Already have got Christos Solis. They're interested in this guy as well. Still only young, 21. Had a real breakout season last year. Got into the Belgium national team as well. He was in the squad for the World Cup. And had, as I said, a really, really good season. He's a left back. And we've got enough of those. But can also play right back. Bruges are valuing him at around about £30 million. A lot of money for a player who's just sort of had one breakout season. Manchester United, also another team very, very interested in signing him at the moment. For me, again, a left back who can play right back. If anything, Arsenal need a right back. So I see this as unlikely, but again, it's a rumour out there today. What's going to happen with Julian Alvarez? He returns back to Atletico Madrid today. He's set to have talks with Diego Simeone, the manager, and also the hierarchy there. This is going to be a very pivotal week for him and his career. What does he decide to do? Atletico Madrid playing real hardball on this one, refusing to sell him to Barcelona. That's where he really wants to go. He'd like to go to Barcelona, but they're refusing to sell him to Barcelona. What is he going to do? If he throws his toys out the pram and says, listen, I want to move, I don't want to stay here no more, I can't play, you know what I mean, my head's not right, I can't play under these circumstances, could that offer an opportunity for Arsenal if Atletico Madrid then turn around and say, well, we're not selling you under any circumstances to Barcelona, but we consider somebody else. A bit like how they're going to get Christian Romero, in that Tottenham would not sell him to Arsenal, but would sell him to Atletico, and he just wants to get out of there, so he's moving. Going to be interesting to see. This is a D-Day week for Julian Alvarez, and Arsenal will be waiting to see how the scenarios, how things play out as to whether they make any sort of bid or not. It's not easy, these deals. I was doing an interview with Yardman yesterday outside the ground. He seems to think you just go, throw the money down, player comes. It don't work like that. Many different things are at play when it comes to transfers. Now, this one's interesting. Arsenal, according to Team Talk today, are saying have made an inquiry about Endrick of Real Madrid. Endrick, of course, one of the starlets of that Real Madrid team. They bought him in, you know, he's a golden boy over there in Brazil, still only 20. Remember him being in the World Cup, missing an easy chance, but he's still only 20. Got a contract at Real Madrid until 2030. He was out on loan last year at Lyon, and he did very, very well on loan as well. And Real Madrid looking at possibly another loan this year. Arsenal have made inquiries about him. Now, you know, Team Talk also saying that, you know, he's valued at around about £43 million, but I just don't see at this stage Real Madrid selling him, or if they did, there'd be lots of things inserted into that, buyback clauses, stuff that I just think would be unacceptable to a team like Arsenal.
This story this morning reared its head again that Arsenal made contact with Paris Saint-Germain over a potential move for Bradley Barcola. And look, I wanted to jump straight onto this because there's been a huge update this morning from Fabrizio Romano that the final green light has been given by Bradley Barcola to join Liverpool. The two clubs are advancing in their conversations. It does feel that something is fairly close. And I'll never write off the idea of a hijack. I'll never write off the idea that a move could change direction, because we've all watched football for far too long to not know it's possible. Okay, every single one of us, we've watched the game for far too long. We've been around for far too long. But the idea that Arsenal are going to hijack this, I spoke about this on the Done Deal show yesterday morning. A lot of people sending me the links to these stories. And there seemed to have been a lot of very angry people in the comment section yesterday. I tell you, why are you suggesting there could be a hijack? And it was this little reminder that YouTube has got to change one thing, and that's allowing people to leave comments on videos before they've watched the video. It should be grayed out, because there was about 10 people that then messaged going, do you know what? Actually, I shouldn't have wrote that comment because I watched the video. I hear you now. You didn't think it was happening. My advice is always listen and then leave a comment. The amount of times people write things in the comment section where they're like, I disagree with you, Terry, I think this. Well, it means you didn't listen to me because we agree with each other.
Arsenal have reportedly made an inquiry regarding the Brazilian forward, a move that would represent a fascinating change of emphasis. Rather than focusing exclusively on established stars, the Gunners are continuing to investigate the next generation of elite attacking talent. Endrick is still at the beginning of his career, but his reputation has already travelled far beyond Brazil. His explosiveness, finishing ability and confidence around the penalty area have made him one of the most closely watched young forwards in world football. An inquiry is obviously not an agreement. It isn't even necessarily the beginning of formal negotiations. But it matters because Arsenal are gathering information. They're asking the important questions. What's the player's situation? What would the financial package look like? Would there be an opportunity? And most importantly, could a deal realistically happen? Then comes the biggest immediate question, Julian Alvarez. This situation has reached the point where waiting forever simply isn't an option. Arsenal need clarity, and the player's situation could force a major decision as the transfer deadline approaches. Alvarez would represent a completely different proposition to Endrick. One is a long-term investment. The other is a proven elite-level forward capable of contributing immediately. Alvarez's movement is arguably one of his biggest strengths. He doesn't simply remain between the centre-backs waiting for service. He drops into space, combines with midfielders, presses aggressively and constantly looks for opportunities to attack the penalty area. That makes him particularly interesting for Arsenal. But there is a financial and sporting calculation to make. How much should Arsenal invest? How strongly does the club want the player? And if that route becomes impossible, is Endrick part of the alternative plan?